SABRIC's latest annual crime stats showing that digital banking fraud increasing by 33% between 2019 and 2020. And here's where you got to be careful. Debit card fraud rising by 22%. It's quite an increase, isn't it? Well, the flux in trends reflecting the changing spending habits of South Africans brought on by lockdown. I'm Barry Bateman. That's simply because we aren't going to shops anymore. We're buying everything online, aren't we?
Well, it's exactly that. It's this change in our spending habits and also greater trust in these online platforms. Just a few years ago, I was speaking to a university lecturer at Wits University who deals with this kind of thing. Just 4 or 5 years ago, we didn't have this level of trust in these online platforms. Now, you can order groceries to your house within an hour, you know. So there's this radical change. But just to give you an idea of the scale of this problem, Gareth, you know, I was speaking to Chad Thomas. He's a financial crimes investigator at IRS. And he put things into perspective for me. He said the cost or the value of cybercrime in South Africa in a single day is the equivalent, if not more, of the value of cash in transit heists for a whole year. It's going to be upward, I think he said 7 trillion for the globe.
Wow. In
value by the end of this year. That's where it's estimated. So cybercrime is becoming one of the biggest crimes. And the point, he made the point as well, the reason we don't give it quite the attention that it deserves and we're so serious, it's not a violent crime.
That's it.
People are being hurt.
Our attention.
It doesn't get our attention, although there are people every day who are being swindled. I'll just give you, in the last hour, I received a wonderful SMS and from a number I don't know. But the person telling me, hello, you are a possible relative of our deceased fund member who has unclaimed benefits as you share the same surname. It's my lucky day.
It is. Well, when you're off air, you're obviously going to reply, give them all your banking details.
I'm going to touch base.
Code.
Put it through, and you know what, if I hit it big, I might treat you to a lunch. We might do something.
It's very good, because obviously you want to go and reply to that message as soon as you can tell us about the insert that you did about just how big a problem this actually is. What was the story about?
Absolutely. Speaking to Chad Thomas, speaking to a lecturer at Wits University, looking at those spending habits, the way they're changing, referring to the SABRIC numbers as we've got the latest ones, and of course Chad Thomas being interviewed on how not to become the next victim. Take a listen. Add to cart and checkout. This is how many South Africans are now doing their shopping. It's easy and convenient. But cybercriminals are also stocking their checkout carts, and it's consumers who are footing the bill. But just how serious is this type of crime?
1 day's worth of cybercrime in South Africa is equivalent or more than all the cash heists that take place in South Africa on an annual basis.
Chad Thomas says it's estimated that by the end of this year, cybercrime would have affected the world to the tune of $6.5 trillion. It's further estimated it's costing South Africa over 2 billion rand a year. SABRIC's latest figures show the number of digital banking fraud incidents rose by 33% between 2019 and 2020. The rise has been attributed to changes in consumer behavior, helped by strict COVID-19 regulations.
The increased digital adoption, you know, people don't want to go to the banks, stand in queues, go to shops. It's too risky for them. The change in the mindset of people, they are getting more confident in buying online. You know, we didn't have that 4 or 5 years ago. And purchasing behavior is changing. I mean, now you can have a Checkers deliver all your groceries, and then change in the interpersonal behavior. People prefer to actually not interact.
How, then, do you avoid being the next victim?
We must understand that criminals adapt, and they adapt very fast. We need to keep up to date with the changes. We need to find out what's going on, whether it's phishing, whether it's ransomware, whether it's changing banking details type fraud. If we are using our devices to store valuable information or to use with apps to make payments, we have to have multi-factor authentication so that we don't fall prey to these criminals.
Criminals change their ways as quickly as authorities can crack down on them. The most important advice is for consumers themselves to be vigilant. Barry Bateman, Johannesburg.